To determine if Reiki is an effective method for treating pain, I assume that's Reiki, a pilot study was carried out where a certified second-degree Reiki therapist provided treatment on volunteers. Pain was measured using a visual analog scale immediately before and after the treatment. The data is in the table. Compute a 90% confidence level for the mean difference in VAS score from before and after the treatment. Okay, so this looks like we've got two separate independent samples, but remember this is a pre-test, post-test, so we really are interested in what the difference between these two scores are. So our formula is going to be, let's see, it's a mean question, so we're going to go x bar of the differences, and we're doing a confidence interval, right? So plus or minus our t star times s over the square root of n. So that's the formula we're going to fill everything into. So we need the differences. So I've got stat, edit, and then here's list 1 and list 2, and hopefully I typed everything in right. Remember, that's kind of the hardest part about these problems. So now I'm going to do the difference. Now let's see, which way should we subtract these? Because if I want to see if the pain went down, then I'm assuming that these pre-scores would be larger and these post-scores would be smaller. So I could go post minus pre to get a negative number, which would show me how much it went down by. I think that's what I'm going to do. So if I'm going to go post minus pre so that a negative shows how much the reduction in the pain was. So, and you could do it the other way. Just remember which way you subtract the numbers to keep track of what the interpretation of the problem would say. So I'm going to subtract the two scores. So I'm going to go list 2 minus list 1. And I look at that, and at a glance, I can see I've got a lot of negatives, right? So that means it looks like the treatment was in fact effective. For some people it wasn't, but notice there doesn't appear to be any positives. So nobody's pain increased. A couple people didn't have any reduction, and some of them had just very small reduction. Some of them had large reduction. So, like this guy right here, right? So let's see. So we're going to go stat, calc, 1 var stats on list 3. And so I get negative 2.25. So our x bar of the differences is negative 2.25. So it looks like the average decrease in pain was 2.25 points. And the standard deviation was equal to 1.94. All right, so that's a pretty large amount of variability. But let's go ahead and do our formula. So I've got negative 2.25 plus or minus. Now I need the t-star value, right? So I have a total of 20 observations. So I have 19 degrees of freedom, which would be here. And we wanted to do a 90% confidence level. So 90%, that's 1.729 standard deviations. So negative 2.25 plus or minus, and I've already forgotten the number. What did I say, 1.729? Times s over square root n, and s was 1.94 over the square root of 20. There's my formula. So now I'm just going to go stat, test, 1 sample t interval, so that's that one. And notice it's filled everything in for me, and I've got 90% confidence, so there we go. We get from negative 3.001 up to negative 1.499. So if this had been a test, right, not just a confidence interval, but a test, we would have concluded here that it does appear that the Reiki was effective because the average pain reduction, we're 90% confident that the average pain reduction is somewhere between negative 3 and negative 1.5 points. So does the Reiki appear to be effective? The answer is yes.